The Catherian War Council had faced extinction 3 times in their millennium-long history, but never had they encountered anything like the creature that now ravaged their homeworld. They called it Drakthan, the Void Hunger, and it had already consumed 7 of their fortress cities, leaving nothing but crystalline ash in its wake. General Zexai watched the tactical display with mounting despair as red markers blinked out one by one across the continent. Each marker represented a battalion of their finest warriors, equipped with plasma cannons and molecular disruptors that could level mountains. None of it mattered. The beast simply absorbed the energy, growing larger with each assault. "Sir," Communications Officer Velan's voice cracked through her translator. "The creature has breached the northern perimeter. Estimated time to reach the capital, 4 standard hours." Zexai's mandibles clicked in frustration. In 4 hours, Catheria Prime would fall, and with it, the last remnants of their civilization. The evacuation ships could only carry a fraction of their population, and even those might not escape if the creature's hunger extended to space. "There is one possibility," whispered Chief Scientist Mortun from the shadows of the command center. The ancient Catherian had remained silent throughout the crisis, but now his compound eyes gleamed with desperate hope. The human research station on Catheria's 3rd moon. Humans. Zexai's thorax bristled. What could those soft-bodied bipeds possibly do that our greatest weapons cannot? "I have studied them extensively," Mortun replied, his voice gaining strength. "They are unusual. Their emotional resonance operates on frequencies we have never encountered. If my calculations are correct, they might be able to reach the creature in ways we cannot." With no other options remaining, Zexai authorized the desperate gambit. The Human Research Station, established only 2 years prior as part of an interspecies scientific exchange, housed a small team of xenobiologists and their families. Among them was Dr. Sarah Chen and her 8-year-old daughter, Emma. When the Catherian shuttle arrived at the research station, Dr. Chen listened to the translator's mechanical voice with growing disbelief. "You want my daughter to do what?" "The creature responds to neural patterns," Morton explained urgently. "Adult humans possess too much cognitive complexity, too many fears and preconceptions. But a child's mind operates on pure emotional truth." "Absolutely not," Dr. Chen said firmly. "I won't risk Emma's life based on a theory." It was Emma herself who stepped forward, her dark eyes wide with understanding beyond her years. "Mom, if I don't try, everyone dies anyway, right?" 3 hours later, a single transport descended toward the Catherian capital as the creature's shadow fell across the city's outer districts. Emma sat in the passenger compartment, wearing a hastily modified environmental suit, while her mother held her hand so tightly it hurt. The beast was unlike anything in humanity's imagination or nightmares. It stood nearly a kilometer tall, its form constantly shifting between solid matter and pure energy. Where it walked, the very air crystallized and shattered. Its presence felt like a scream that bypassed the ears and tore directly at the soul. As their shuttle approached, Emma watched the creature turn toward them. She could feel its attention like a physical weight, pressing against her mind with the force of a dying star. Behind that pressure, though, she sensed something else, a loneliness so vast and ancient that it made her heart ache. "It's not evil," she whispered to her mother. "It's just lost." The shuttle set down at the creature's feet. Through the viewport they could see Catherian forces maintaining their distance, weapons trained but useless. Emma's breathing fogged her helmet as she prepared to exit the vehicle. "Emma!" Dr. Chen's voice cracked over the comm. "You don't have to." "Yes, I do," Emma replied with the simple certainty that only children possess. She stepped out onto the crystallized ground, her small form dwarfed by the towering presence above her. The creature's attention focused on her with laser intensity, and she could feel alien thoughts probing at the edges of her consciousness, thoughts filled with eons of hunger and pain. Emma did something that no Catherian warrior, no matter how brave, could have conceived of doing. She sat down on the crystal-hard ground and began to speak. "Hi there," she said softly, her voice carrying through her suit's external speakers. "I'm Emma. Are you hungry?" The creature's form rippled, its constant movement slowing as it considered this tiny being who showed no fear, carried no weapons, and radiated nothing but genuine concern. "I get hungry too sometimes," Emma continued, reaching into her suit's utility pouch and pulling out a small wrapped candy bar. Mom says I shouldn't eat sweets before dinner, but this is kind of a special situation. She unwrapped the chocolate and held it up toward the towering entity. I don't think you eat regular food, though. I think you eat feelings? And all the feelings you've been getting lately have been scared ones, angry ones. That must taste awful. The creature's movement stopped entirely. In the command center, Cytherian sensors detected something unprecedented. The entity's energy signature was stabilizing, its chaotic frequencies aligning into something approaching harmony. Emma smiled up at the being that had devoured armies. I bet you haven't had a happy feeling in a really long time. Would you like to try one? She closed her eyes and thought about her favorite things. Her mother's laughter, the feeling of warm sunlight, the excitement of discovering something new, the safety of being loved unconditionally. She projected these feelings outward with the unconscious ease of a child who had never learned that such things were impossible. The creature's form began to shift, the harsh edges of its energy signature softening. For the first time in millennia, Drakthon experienced something other than hunger. It experienced wonder. Slowly, carefully, the massive being lowered itself to the ground, its energy field dimming to a warm, almost gentle glow. Emma reached out with her small hand and touched what might have been its face or perhaps its heart. The contact sent ripples of contentment through both beings. There, she said softly. That's better, isn't it? In the years that followed, xenopsychologists would write countless papers about the incident on Cytheria Prime. They would analyze the unique properties of human empathy, the neurological differences that allowed humans to form emotional connections across species barriers that others found impermeable. But Emma would remember it more simply. The day she made friends with the loneliest creature in the universe and learned that sometimes the most powerful weapon against darkness isn't a sword or a gun, but simply the willingness to reach out and offer kindness to something that everyone else fears. The beast that had devoured armies became the guardian of Cytheria, its massive form a gentle presence watching over the rebuilding cities. And whenever young Cytherians asked how such a transformation was possible, their elders would tell them about the human child, who understood that even the most fearsome monsters sometimes just needed a friend.